Wow, everybody must be really excited. Thank you. Yes, that's right. It's the second episode today on this 2 for Tuesday. Staying Super with SimplySuperDave. And I am your host, SimplySuperDave. Obviously, I had to state that. Sometimes you just never know. We're going to stick on topic. I mean, I'm really focused this week on this unity topic that I every week I'm going to pick something and just kind of elaborate. I realize that sometimes you can't talk about one topic in one episode. There's too many moving parts. This week we're talking about unity. Last week we talked about building your world, your bubble, and what to put in it. And the reason why you need to have a pretty good bubble to be in is to bounce around in this crazy world we call life. And I'm telling you, with the world being so connected, that is the reason why things move so rapidly. People will say, we're getting to the end times. They've been saying that since the beginning. Just realize that. Just like our country, even though it was founded on freedom and independence, there's a lot of people that were willing to stay under England's control. Nothing's ever been unanimous, I guess is what I'm trying to say, folks. Everything's been pushed in a certain way based on how the majority of people feel. And usually the majority of the people feel a certain way based on who's in control of the information they're given. And today that is not more relevant than ever. I believe we are living in a time of revelations, and let me explain why. Look at everything. All the uncovering of information, true and false information, I don't care. Just look at the outlay land of it. It's amazing. I mean, you would literally have to get up off your ass and go look for information on topics down aisles through books and figuring out a Dewey Decimal System so you can find the book based on the author and the subject. And it's insane. Now you literally stay on your ass and you can find every bit of information down to the citation when it was published, even a short autobiographical thing on the author himself so they can either credit or discredit the information you're about to read. See what I'm talking about? People use information and they twist and turn it a lot. A lot of things in society is all based on money. All right. That's the other thing. We'll get to the money episode down the road later in the week, but we all know that's a big part of it, right? Okay. Well, earlier, I've been waiting to bring up the mark of the beast I think I teased that a few episodes. Well, tonight you're going to get it. All right. It ain't a big reveal. And I did say I have a counter for it. So, whoa, what? Yeah. Well, it's not going to be what you think. It's not going to be easy, of course. It's going to take a lot of bubble control, inner self looks that you need to have with yourself, and more importantly, acceptance and ownership of everything that you've done and said. In a world, in case you do, there is animals about me. So if you hear a dog barking in the background, I apologize. I do understand how professional other podcasts may be. I told you from the very get-go, you're getting the real thing. I kind of like being in real life sometimes. I like the sound of life going around me. Like I said, I live off that energy. I don't need a whole lot of it, or I'd be in New York. But I do need a little, and I prefer animals over people probably any day of the week and twice on Sundays. I don't know if a lot of people will agree with me on that statement or not, but people pretty much can make up their own minds. Why animals that we have domesticated fully have faith and trust in you and rely completely on you, and you put them that way. So I care more about what I'm in control over than I'm worried about my equals on this planet. You're responsible for your own. I'm responsible for mine. Big premise behind a lot of the political issues I have today, and solves a lot of the issues. May piss people off because people want things done a certain way. And for that, I have to tell you, get in line, buddy. Everybody wants it done their way. But this ain't Burger King, okay? The country isn't ran like that. So, this is important because 30 plus years ago and beyond, there was no such thing as the internet. And even when the internet was created, it took a little time before it picked up. Once they found a way to navigate through the internet freely based on an Internet Explorer, that really knocked down the door, okay? That changed everything. And here we are, 30 plus years into the internet age. And look how vastly different life is for the average person who is connected to the internet. 30 plus years ago or beyond, your life consisted of everybody you knew personally. Like everybody you would come in contact that day with, anyone you picked up a phone to call. And you had to remember the phone number, by the way. There were no speed dials. Everything was written down. There was phone books, so you could look up phone numbers. There was no profiles of anybody. You didn't get barraged with anybody's opinions for that day. Not until you watched the news. And even then, the news was more about the news. It may have still been controlled, but it wasn't too opinionated. It was opinions there, but there was very few. Very controlled. People believed pretty much everything that came on TV or was announced on the radio. Nothing was dismissed. People, you always have people that dismiss everything, don't get me wrong. But the majority was overwhelmingly, okay, that's all right, yeah, yeah, absolutely. that was the response to everybody. Yeah, well, I trust you. Now we're in a time where it's like, is that real? Really? I don't know. I gotta do my own research. I don't know if that's true or not. Are they eating babies? It's crazy. But is it true or not? I'm not here to tell you that. I'm not here to talk about those kind of subjects and go, well, this is what it is. You got to look for yourself. Educate yourself. Nah, you don't need to educate yourself. You don't, because it's not really a part of your fucking world. I mean, it is, but you know what I mean? It's not in your bubble. It's in your bubble because you let it in your bubble. Now it's a story bouncing around your bubble. Now everybody's thinking about that and da-da-da. You're not focused on what you need to be focused on. To me, the mark of the beast is something that is going to be presented to you that you will want and desire, that you feel like you can't live without. Okay? And don't get me wrong. It is something that obviously you feel like it must be pretty fucking important. Think about it, folks. How does the devil work? He doesn't come to you with horns and feet and, big all red flames. Ugh. It kind of sticks out. He comes to you in the shadows. He comes to you like he did Jesus in the desert. He comes into you in your weak moments, the moments you're most desperate, where you're clinging on to everything, thinking, I don't know if I can do this another day. And he comes and offers you things that you cannot turn down, that it would be stupid for you to turn down. It's something that I'm pretty sure we have all done at some point in our lowest moments. Or at some point felt like this was the right decision. And the minute you do that, and the minute you do it, you have regret. You know, this is not something you really want to do. You're doing it because of desperation. That's how he works. And then when things are at their best, it can be even better. But the best way to get everybody at one time is if everybody was kind of doing the same thing. We're connected. Up until 30 plus years ago, the world was connected, but it wasn't instant. You know what I mean? There was no internet. If you wanted to call somebody, it would still take time. You might not be able to get through. It was, primitive communication. Wow. It's hard to say that. But before the internet, it was primitive. It was time delayed. Regardless of whatever form or fashion you used, is how much time it was delayed. Well, the internet changed all that. Now someone has a thought, they post it, I can read it, and it could be 4,000 miles away, 3,000 miles away, or whatever. I don't know how big the fucking planet is. But it sounds like 4,000 is a little far-fetched, but 3,000 miles away, they could be on the other side of the planet, you know. And I read it instantly. If something happened somewhere, instantly. So why does it always feel like end times is getting closer? It's because you know more about what's going on. Doesn't mean that hasn't always been going on since the beginning of time. You live on a living thing. It's called Earth. It's going to transform and do its thing. This has gone through many climate changes. There's no such thing as climate control. You can be green and be I endorse all that, but at the end of the day, no matter what we produce or put on this planet, unless it's made of rock, it's not going to be here in 3,000 years. I think we see evidence of that. And I know we make things that they never made back then, blah, 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 but lava kind of melts everything. You know? This planet has been through so much before us, and it'll be around after we are. We are blinking the eye, so to speak. So that's why I say not to take everything I say too seriously. It's just a pondered thought to educate yourself, to remember you're really free. But yeah, the mark of the beast. Well, you're holding it. And you need it. It's not the phone itself, even though it's ironic that it's an apple. Just like in the apple of Eden. Eat from the tree of knowledge and you will know everything God knows. She just had to have a bite of that apple, and then she convinced Adam, who would trust her completely, to eat the apple as well, to be just like God. What's funny is that he created us in his image. So we've always been like God. But to want to know everything just seems to be a little selfish. I mean, what are you going to do with it? Okay, you know everything, and then you die. How'd you live your life? I guess that's the more important question. How'd you live your life, regardless of how much knowledge you got in your head? No matter how dumb you think you are or how smart you think you are. So living your life and doing the right or wrong things in the moments that they present themselves is what defines you as a person. And I feel like defines your positive or negative energy that you have in your bubble. Regardless of the bullshit we all say, it's our actions that define who we are. For instance, I'm a good metaphor of that. I speak all these wonderful positive things, but I'm a very depressed, recluse person. And struggles with everyday life just the same as anybody else. I desire this little box in my hand to stay connected to the outside world. For me, it would be the most important necessity to have in a recluse's life, to stay in touch with people. So why would I call this the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast, an apple of knowledge, knowing things that you shouldn't know. Just imagine if you were given all the information, the truth, but you didn't know how to handle it. That's pretty much just what's happening with a lot of folks. They all become so intelligent and smart because they can Google and look up things and find proof and become lawyers in an instant. But they're looking up information that's controlled. And that's where the internet went south on us. Because, like a tool, like anything else, can be used for good. I brought this up earlier in the previous episode. Or it could be used for bad. Or both can exist at the same time. But it's up to you to differentiate, whatever. To make the difference between what's true and what isn't. And that's where perception comes in. What is your perception on life? What history have you had to affect who you are and what you believe in, what you feel like you got to fight for? Is it all this stuff that they talk about on TV every day? Or is it something more? Something that is about you? Like I said, folks, I picked the topic of like racism and world hunger as issues that need every bit of attention that we can give it. Because as a society, we will always keep bettering ourselves. We don't need government for that. That's just instant. So there's no laws that can prevent these things from happening. You cannot prevent people from feeling this way. You can only know how to deal with it and minimize it. That's how you deal with it. You ignore it till it becomes a problem. You deal with it, and then you minimize it. It's coming. There's no law you can put in place to stop anybody from being a racist. It just depends what the fuck happened to them. Some people, I get it. I hate to say it's okay, but at least I understand why they are where they are. Because of some tragic attack or someone murdered I get it. But I've seen people pull themselves out of that and realize that it's the person, not the color of their skin, that defined with their actions. And that's how I look at people. Just like world hunger, there's always going to be hunger. But if we can have less people die every year from it, that is us moving forward as a society. I get why people care so much about the things that they feel define them. And this is where I'm going to go on the sexual topic just for a second. And sexual identity, actually. This is all I'm going to say about that, by the way. Because I don't really care. Who you are sexually, I don't care. The only way I would ever care is if I was dating you. Or if I was going to marry you. All right? If you're anybody beyond that, I don't care. People that care, you got a problem. Don't worry about it. Let them go do whatever the fuck they want to do when they go home. That is what I believe in. Your privacy of whatever the fuck you want to be, as long as you're fucking happy. Now, with that being said, I do believe they deserve the same restrictions. And what I mean by that is public displays of affection. Straight people get busted for it all the time. Yes, it's promoted. And I see plenty of promotion across everything nowadays. And I don't have a problem with it. I'm like, well, there you go. Yay for them. Whatever. I'm happy. Because I like to see that equality. Because I care about equality. But I don't like seeing stuff that should be private publicly put out there. That's your right. That's your privacy. If you're fighting for the right, okay. But you don't have to be that. You don't have to be that. That is not that is not your whole life. Oh, I'm this sexual gender. That's not who you are. That is a detail of who you are. If you want to get descriptive, that's a detail. It's not who you are. It's not the bio. You know what I mean? So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's not as important as you think it is. It does not make you different from other people. Everybody feels the same fucking goddamn emotions. Sorry, Lord. Promised I wouldn't do that. Told him that. And there you're like, oh, look, he does believe in God. Yeah, I do. I just don't believe in religion. And I don't believe in that's the whole story either. I'm an open-minded character. Okay. Anyway. Back to my point. You are not those things. You are not your fucking car. You're not your fucking house. You're not your fucking khakis. Anybody know that? That's my movie recommend for the night, folks. And don't just take it to just corporate greed, which is what the movie really kind of centers around, and taking everybody back to zero. But look at all the different stuff that they use. Oh, let's take a moment to appreciate the railroad systems in this country. Built by the Chinamen. Oh, Dave, you didn't say that. Yeah, I did. How do you think China got so involved in our country? How do you think black people got involved in our country through slavery? China, the railroads. Every nationality has had a contribution to building this country. Most of the great cities were built by strong black men. Yeah, that's right. The railroads, strong China men. Which is why, listen to the previous episode if you want to know how I feel about China. I'm not going to dwell back into that. But yes, the movie is from 1999. It is called Fight Club. Stars Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, directed by David Fincher. Also, Helena Bonham Carter. Fantastic actress. Great movie. Not going to spoil it for you. Just going to say watch it. Just watch it. Hit me up on Twitter, SimplySuperDave. Let me know what you think of the flick. A lot of underlying tones in that movie that I think a lot of people need to hear today. You are not these things, all right? That is not who you are. That may be what is a strong detail about you. But things like your medical privacy, your sexual privacy, those things are private. Those things are up to you. Because it depends on your life. Has no call for the government. Dave, you're getting off topic with the mark of the beast. Yeah, I am. Anyway, just imagine everybody has their little apple from the tree of knowledge in their hands. You just want to be just like God. You want to be right. You want to know everything. At the end of it all, what does it matter? Like I said, information is supposed to stimulate your brain to keep you free. Critical thinking is important. Keeps you free. This little device, I'm using it to spread the word to you that you don't even need it. All the answers to all the questions. Most importantly, the ones that matter most and how you can get your life this way, or how can I deal with that? How can I get past this issue? How do I deal with this kind of success? All answers within you. Nowhere else. Nobody else has them. Nobody else has them. I love these little talks. I really hope people are enjoying the podcast. Hope people aren't getting offended by the podcast. Oh yeah, how to get over the mark of the beast. Well, see, it's an energy that connects us. And it all depends on the information being pushed out there and the topics that they derive us to have arguments about instead of conversations. Racism, hunger, Elon Musk buying Twitter, pedophiles in Hollywood, pedophiles in the Vatican Church. What's the Pope doing this week? Why doesn't President Biden remember his name? What's he yelling about? Donald Trump. Just got to say his name just to get that in there for the algorithm, I guess. Anyway, folks, you know how I feel about all that shit. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know I'm coming to you straight. I'm coming to you kind of hard. But I'm coming to you real. Unity is about realizing you have a tool at your hand. And yes, it is the mark of the beast. And yes, it is something that can manipulate your life to where you don't have control of it anymore. Think about it. That's why I do the podcast. I want to make people think about things. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to go, hey, look at this. This is what happened at 9/11. I'm here to say something's fishy at 9/11. Look at what I see. Do you agree? That's all I'm doing, okay? So before anybody gets on their little bandwagons, remember, it doesn't matter if you disagree with me or not. We're still going to go to bed tonight believing what we believe. You're not going to educate me unless you come at me with logic. Stuff that makes sense. And a lot of things in this world don't make a whole lot of sense. But when you step back and look at the big picture, it kind of clicks into focus. Just depends on your perception, folks. Are you in the box or are you in the melee? Are you outside looking at who's really controlling the melee? And are you stepped out far enough to really realize that You just need to make the best of it. And the only way to get over all that is use that tool. Use that mark of the beast and spread that positive vibe, that love and laughter, not the hate and fear that they want you to do. Ignore the topics. Make your own. Point out things in life that are beautiful to you. Quit letting them make you have arguments about things you don't want to have arguments about. Use some common sense. That's all I'm saying. And the best common sense you can ever come up with is a lot of imaginative thinking. And I say imaginative because that's the way you have to come up with solutions. Obviously, there isn't a solution for some of the problems that you're trying to deal with. You tried what you thought would work, but eventually you're going to have to come up with something that's just not available to you. So you're going to have to invent something to get you out of your funk, to get you out of bed in the morning, to go back to a job that barely pays the bills, and it's a good paying job. That's the frustrating part to me right now. I make enough money, but with the inflation, and if you get behind on a bill, and they're on you like dogs. It's a tough life out there, folks. I get it. That's why I'm coming to you like I am. And I need people to unite, to start looking around themselves and stop seeing red and blue, and start seeing yourselves. You all got here together. You're all based on a freedom that no other country has ever had. They have spent their entire careers trying to pry it away from you. It's time to remind them that you're in charge, and they're supposed to be doing what you want them to do, not whatever they decide they need to do. I'm tired of watching them go after each other for 4 years and wasting opportunities to spend time doing what their constituents want them to do rather than attacking and trying to disprove another politician. I don't have time for this. And then they give themselves raises. I know what you're all saying. This guy's crazy. He thinks I got the mark of the beast already. Am I? Remember, it's something you want. It's something you need. Hell, mine's integrated with my job. I gotta have my phone. Might as well get on Twitter. Might as well make some nice little rant and rave for the podcast and put that out there and feel good about my likes and how many downloads I get. Ooh. I don't know if I'll get up tomorrow. And I really, truly live every day as if it might be my last. So all I'm trying to do is leave a message behind. Just a little love and laughter. Be a little serious, but happy about it. Because you know what, fellas? Ladies, everybody, everything in between. They, people. I love you all. I don't care what you do, as long as you're happy. Seeing other people's happinesses and successes, I feed off of that. It makes me believe more in myself. Because I can see somebody just like me or someone that I care about get. And I know some people that work their ass off to get where they are, dedicate themselves, put way more in it than I ever could. That's why I never get jealous of their successes. I know what I put in. I get what I get. I get it. Hate it when I say something and it hits me. Yeah. Gosh, I told y'all. I'm always going to be real. So if you enjoy the podcast, please follow, share me. I am on all platforms. YouTube is the place to go if you want to find videos from 10 years back. I've been trying. And thank you to all those who have listened, and especially every episode. I wouldn't know who you are or anything right now because my my details on my stats, my statistics, those damn S's. But I do appreciate it. I mean, I do keep up with the numbers because I am one of those people marked by the beast. Make you think about it, huh? It's just the level of thinking that's changed. And that's the one thing that has changed the entire world. It's not a social security number. It's not something that you can actually touch. But it connects us all. And there's an evil vibe running through it. So remember, use that love and laughter. Put out a positive vibe. Use the tool for destruction for unity. All right, y'all. I think I got deep enough for y'all on this Taco Tuesday. Catch you tomorrow on Hump Wednesday. Hope everybody's had a great week so far. Enjoy this last week of 2022 as we get ready for 2023 and one hell of a ride. I'm promising you, get ready. Remember, folks, love and laughter is the only thing that can conquer hate and fear. So go be a conqueror. Otherwise, you're just a victim.